Genusian, and welcome to the Genusian Podcast, where we will bring you the latest news, events, and most happening people in Nusa Putra University. So the latest happening events in Nusa Putra University regarding our international students is that we have sent two of our students, which is Paul and Nader, to Malaysia to do their student exchange in University of Tun Hussein on Malaysia. And also, all of you must be confused, like, who am I? Why am I hosting this podcast instead of the regular host? Well, hello everyone, my name is Baby Natasha and I will be the new host of the Genusian Podcast. So, the reason why I am being the host today is because I'm bringing our regular host, our regular talented and prestigious host, which is Mr. David Pradan today as a guest. So, welcome Mr. David Pradan, the Associate Professor of the Law Department.
Thank you very much.
Hello sir, so how are you today sir? How are you feeling as a guest today?
Yeah, it's quite a change in fact to be on the other chair today and to be a host, but it's a welcome change. In fact, I'm quite proud that I'm slowly passing the baton on to the new generation. Yeah.
Thank you very much sir. So I am very honored to to continue the role that has been played by Mr. David Pradan so very impressively, and I'll be trying my best to pass your legacy, sir.
I'm sure you'll do well. I'm sure you'll do well.
All right, Mr. David Pradan from India, right? Okay, so Mr. David, I've been really curious about your journey before coming to Indonesia, sir. So can you tell us please how is your journey before coming to Indonesia, and how did you manage to choose Indonesia to continue your career, sir?
Okay, so I am basically a lawyer. So after completing my Bachelor of Laws, I practiced for quite a long time in India as a lawyer, and during that period of practicing, I also picked up my master's degree in law and qualified for being a lecturer. And thereafter, I had the opportunity to travel to Indonesia because I had certain friends here in East Java. So I visited them and I got an offer to be an adjunct faculty member as a lawyer and qualified to teach law. So that is how my journey teaching law into Indonesia started, and I'm very glad to say that I have been able to pursue my passion for teaching and interacting with new generations of law students as a lecturer, and I have found myself to be very much enriched by my interaction with law students, especially the law students in Indonesia, and it's been quite a beautiful journey for me, starting right in 2019 when I first came to Indonesia to right now when I'm at Sukabumi presently. So it's been quite a journey for me, earlier on just as an adjunct faculty, coming to Indonesia sporadically, and then now more regularly in Nusa Putra University, where the Honorable Rector has given me an opportunity to participate more fully in the educational programs of the law department. So I'm very thankful to Nusa Putra University for giving me this opportunity to be here. Although traditionally I'm more of a lawyer than an academic. So that is how I am at Nusa Putra University.
All right, so there was such an inspiring journey, Mr. David. You came all the way from India to Indonesia to teach legal, but by the way, as far as I know, sir, but I'm from the accounting department, so I might be wrong, but as far as I know, India has a different law system from Indonesia, right?
Yes.
So I was curious, how do you manage to teach in Indonesia despite the difference of the law system, sir?
Yeah, that is one of the questions that I get regularly asked by people all over Indonesia, because India is a common law country. We were under the British colonial rule, so we adopted the Anglo-Saxon legal system, and our legal system is very different. It's based on precedent and other principles of law, which is quite different from the continental legal system that Indonesia follows, because it was under Dutch colonization and the Dutch followed a different legal system, right? So that is perhaps one of the reasons why Indian professors or Indian lawyers and teachers cannot be regular teachers in Indonesia. They can only be like teaching certain subjects and on an adjunct basis. So in that case, I think that it's pertinent to mention here that I don't teach Indonesian law. I don't teach Indonesian law. I'm not qualified in Indonesian law. We have got very good scholars and teachers in the Department of Law who teach Indonesian law. But I mainly focus on international law, comparative law, and I have very few courses that I teach, and only when I come to the university on some days, sometimes that I come here, I teach comparative law and things like international law and general topics like legal research methodology to the master degree course. So that is the ambit of my knowledge and participation in the legal department as of here. But I must say that we have got very good and qualified scholars in the Department of Law with degrees from some of the best universities in Indonesia, Gadjah Mada, Airlangga, Brawijaya, and many of them are doctorate degree holders, and they are extremely competent to teach Indonesian law. So I try to confine myself to my sort of supplementary role of teaching as a foreign national to subjects which are common to all.
Okay. All right. So you mainly focus on the international law, right?
Yes, comparative legal research methodology, topics like this, which are common all over the world.
Okay. So, Mr. David, I bet you are teaching like the international class, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find our international students there? Because they come from a different background, different countries. So there must be a different kind of way to teach them also.
Oh yes, of course. For me, everyone here is a foreigner. There are no Indian students here, So everyone here is a foreigner. But then we have an eclectic mix of students from different legal systems. We have got students from Islamic countries like Pakistan. We have got students from Tajikistan, from Zimbabwe, which is a common law country. We have got students from Sudan, which is again an Islamic law country. We have got students from, Tajikistan is actually more of a socialist law country, being a former USSR republic. And what I find, and also Indonesian students here, what I find is that the students, no matter where they come from, have a zeal and an interest to know about law. There is of course a difference in the background, because the way we perceive law in different countries is quite disparate. For some people, they look up to law and accept it as a part of their faith and identity. Other people look at law as something they have to put up with. And there are certain countries where the law is looked upon as a burden. It's something, an imposition, it's elitist and all that. However, despite the ideological positioning that legal lawmakers might have and how they operate the law is quite essential in society. And what I feel is that the students, once they come to this realization, then they develop a lot of interest in what I have to teach. Like I find students very interested in international law because it transcends the national boundaries.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and they are also interested in comparative law, which I teach for the master's degree class, because they can then compare their own legal system with the legal system of another country, like maybe an Islamic country like Afghanistan, or maybe a socialist country or a common law country, and they can find out the way in which other countries are dealing with it. Some of them come up with very cogent suggestions as well, that this can be adopted in Indonesia, or they should learn this from Indonesia and things like that. So students actually become much more analytical, develop a more critical thinking about legal systems when they study these subjects like common law. So one thing that I must put on record here is that I learn much more from my students than my students learn from me. I teach them the basics of legal research methodology, basics of comparative law, and then, as is the policy of this university, by the direction of the rector, that the students must develop their own critical thinking skills. So I just teach them the basics, and then I allow them to critically analyze and use their own mind. And what I find there is that the students exceed any expectations that any person can have. Like the students come up with new ideas, things of ways of looking at things that even experts would not have thought. So the brilliance of the students can be nurtured, should be nurtured, and I believe that given a conducive environment like in Nusa Putra University, even if there is a very small portion of subjects that I am teaching, coming here and just teaching a few subjects, I think that the students can develop their legal knowledge even of Indonesian law, because they analyze Indonesian law very well. So I am all in awe of the intellect of my students, and it has been really very enlightening for me as well.
All right, Mr. David. By the way that you are explaining your students, I can see that you are such a great professor to them.
Thank you so much.
And also, sir, speaking about our students, I would like to know also about our Indonesian students. How do you find them? How is their potential actually in the law department, and what can they do to earn more in the law department, sir?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Actually, I'm not a trained teacher. I'm more of a lawyer, so I tend to be quite different in my way of talking and teaching. But as far as your question goes regarding Indonesian students, I would say that some of the most brilliant students I have seen are in Indonesia. Yes, there are some issues like language. Some of them do not understand English all that well, and there is a communication gap. But let me assure you this, and I have live examples from the classes that I have taken. Students, once they start understanding what is being taught, they develop an interest and go beyond what anyone can expect. Okay, so I use bilingual slides, so both in Bahasa and English, because I can only speak in English, I can't speak Bahasa. So, but they read the slides and they understand, they comprehend it, and there is a great deal of enthusiasm that I have seen in the class. Great deal of students coming up and flowering, blossoming in their skills, in their confidence, in their body language, the way they talk, the way they speak, the way they carry themselves. They are fit to be lawyers. And as far as your question about the scope of being a lawyer goes, I must tell you that Indonesia never had such a brilliant scope as it has today, trust me. And students who study in Nusa Putra University not only get an opportunity to learn Indonesian law, which you can do in any other university in Indonesia, they get an exposure to international teaching, international language, international law, and internationalization as well, right? Like right now we have our conferences, including the ICLAF conference, which is the law conference, which is happening in Japan. And we have sent 150 students to go to Japan and present papers in a Japanese university alongside students from many different universities. So this collaboration, this networking, this friendship that they build, the law students build every year outside Indonesia, is also going to play a very important role in their career graph. And I must say that the traditional way of looking at a lawyer was that okay, he will qualify the Sarjana Hukum degree, then he will go out, work under a lawyer for 2 years or 1 year, and then he will appear for the bar exam and open a Kantor Hukum. Maybe some people will come, maybe some people will not come. Now the world has changed. The world has become globalized, and trust me, I'm very excited by this. Indonesia is an ASEAN country. Indonesian lawyers can work anywhere in ASEAN. And Singapore, they are qualified to work with an Indonesian law degree and earn in Singapore dollars. Singapore is the hub of international arbitration, international commercial arbitration. So, and of course, other countries like Malaysia, which has a very similar, ethos, cultural ethos, and countries like East Timor, and they can work in Philippines, they can work in other ASEAN countries which are developing economies, or they can get into arbitration and other fields of law, into litigation, international law. So there is a very bright future for students who join law course. But especially if they join in Nusa Putra University, they are going to get an exposure how to expand their career beyond Sukabumi, beyond Java Barat, beyond Indonesia, and look at the international market. And that is why I am very excited about this opportunity to speak to students, those who are interested. There's just 2 requirements if you want to go international. Learn your subject thoroughly, study well, and secondly, learn English. That is all. That is all. You can work anywhere in the world. And for this, I take this opportunity also that if you are in 2 minds, if any of the students, if any of the people who are watching are in 2 minds, whether they should join law or they should go for some other subject, or they are considering, not taking up law, I would implore you, please study law. The future is bright. The future belongs to law, especially today in Indonesia. Okay? So, very bright future. And I hope that students come to Nusa Putra University.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. All right. What a great explanation, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And also, just as Mr. David said, in Nusa Putra University, you will not only get exposure within Sukabumi, but you can also get an exposure to internationalization, right, sir? Because aside from the conference, we have also a program which is called International Internship, where we can take an internship outside Indonesia, which is such a great opportunity for you to go abroad. All right, sir, move on to our next question. Now, I'm really curious about how are you feeling in Indonesia, especially I heard you are bringing your mother to Indonesia, right? So what would you recommend her to try in Indonesia, which is it can be like foods or even places or even like the culture. What would you recommend to your mother?
Yeah, thank you, baby, for bringing this up. In fact, this time round, I have come here for 1 month with my mother. Yeah, so we'll be here from now till 24th, 25th of May, and after that, because of the summer vacations which are in Indian courts and all, after that, what we will do is we plan to visit different places in Sukabumi. So as far as the culture is concerned, it's very similar to Indian culture. In fact, someone when he visits India, when an Indonesian visits India, he will not feel out of place. Just like an Indian visiting Indonesia will not feel out of place. The culture, the norms of society, the way people behave, even the food, the dances, everything are very closely related. So I think there is no cultural shock that one experiences when one comes to Indonesia, and this is something I feel at home in Indonesia right from the time in 2019 when I started visiting Indonesian universities. I have found this to be like a second home or good place to spend your holiday. You know, you can just come here and be at home. The cost of living is also roughly the same. Yes, and Indonesia is a very beautiful country, not only in its architecture and culture, the different cultural aspects that are there, but also in terms of its natural beauty. I recently went and climbed Mount Chiramai, which was an experience in itself. We have got Gunung Gede here, and there are so many different places. There is Bromo, there is so many different places that one can enjoy in Indonesia. So foreign students who are nature buffs must come to Indonesia. It's a surreal experience. It's mountains, it's the sea, it's the ocean, it's a beautiful climate, always pleasant. So that is one thing. But sadly, as far as my mother is concerned, she's quite aged, you know, so she is not able to take much of the traveling so well. So maybe just we will visit around to the city and other places like that, and I'll show her places that are accessible by car or vehicle this time. And when I go back, maybe next time, next year or something, when we come back together, I'll try to take her to Bromo. That is the plan. But this is an excellent opportunity that I must say that people who want to study in Indonesia, you will not miss for extracurricular activities and indulging in your hobbies like mountaineering or trekking or climbing or swimming or snorkeling or anything, the sea beach life, you know, we have got everything within 100 kilometers of Sukabumi, right? So So that is why I would take this opportunity also to, advertise sort of Gunung Gede, which is just behind our university,
Yes,
where our students go free of cost, yeah, because they know a secret pathway.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's a very beautiful place with Asia's longest bridge, hanging bridge, yeah. So it's a very beautiful experience. I have enjoyed whenever I have come to Indonesia, and I'm very grateful to the university for giving me this opportunity to come here and spend my time here in the university for whatever time I come, and to experience the beauty and culture and the hospitality and the love of the Indonesian people, which is second to none. I've never felt out of home.
All right, I'm very glad that you find Indonesia
Thank you.
beautiful, and also you are able to experience the warmth of Indonesian culture and also hospitality, sir.
Yeah.
And by the way, sir, I heard that yesterday there is a terrorist attack in India and there's a tension in the borders. How are you what do you think about this situation, sir? Do you have any opinion regarding this matter?
Oh yeah, I do have some opinion. I don't know, but it would be politically correct or not to speak about it, but I'll speak about this. India has experienced a lot of terrorist attacks in the past. The latest one was yesterday when in Pahalgam there was a terrorist attack by 6 terrorists who killed 26 tourists by shooting them. And it's a very heinous crime. All were men. They were asking, what is your religion, and then killing them and things like that, which is completely against the ethos of secular India. So I must mention that here. And of course, there are foreign powers behind this who are creating who are promoting terrorism in India. But I'm sure that there is no point in blaming any particular faith or particular country for that. Even in this incident which happened yesterday, there were people who belonged to different religions but helped each other, carried the injured, protected people, gave up their lives fighting for protecting innocent tourists and things like that. So we should not make it into a religious conflict firstly. So we must understand the geopolitical imperatives that drive this sort of conflict against India. So water, glaciers, these are more important considerations rather than religion or territory presently. So we must not lose sight of those realities and become very reductionist in condemning a certain community or a certain people as such, or a certain country. Now it is true that the terrorism in India is very much promoted by certain elements to its western neighbor which does it. But to blame people from that country also, I think, is quite immature, because majority of the people there are struggling day to night just to meet their ends meet. It is rather certain elements, certain extremist elements, certain powerful politicians, certain powerful players in politics, who have this sort of a agenda to create trouble between countries to maintain their own relevance in their own country. So sadly, India has taken a very strong retaliatory measure. It has denounced the Indus Water Treaty. It has withdrawn from the Indus Water Treaty as of now, maybe temporarily, I hope, because as an international lawyer, I think that withdrawing from an international water sharing treaty can only create more problems and exacerbate the situation. However, we must also look at the reality that terrorism is a fact that India has to deal with every day. So my answer to this would be yes, India should take more proactive steps to build more interaction, build more a unified society and identity as Indians that transcends religious and cultural and other ethnic boundaries, and at the same time engage constructively with the world and try to ensure that terrorist elements originating in foreign countries are dealt with strictly, according to law also, and through better cooperation with countries of the world, international cooperation. So that is what I feel, and I also feel that one of the drivers of very, very emotional rhetoric is the hurt that people are feeling right now. So we should not get swayed by that. We should wait, watch after some time. Yes, it's a very painful moment. A lot of innocent people have been killed, but we should not take decisions in haste or in the heat of emotions. So right now, yes, the border is tense. They say, I was just reading a newspaper article that there can be a nuclear Armageddon. That there can be nuclear war or exchange. Some politicians have declared it an act of war. There are people calling for Gaza type of retaliation, like Israel does, and the politicians in India are under a lot of pressure right now. But my personal opinion is that the world cannot afford another conflict between two nuclear powers at present in India. Rather, both the countries, instead of fighting a war or something, should try to resolve issues, control extremism, control terrorism, and develop their own economy, so that poor people in both countries can enjoy a better standard of living. So that is my earnest hope. Let us see, and I hope that that future, which we all hope and aspire for, will come, but it will come only if we respect law, international law, and respect each other's sovereignty. So that is what I have to say. Thank you.
Mr. David, thank you very much, sir, for giving us the updates about what is happening in India. We do really hope that the situation will get better there, sir. All right, moving on to our next question, sir. Do you have maybe any messages to our students here and also to our future students who will be joining our universities?
I must say that Nusa Putra University is like a family. If you're a part of this, you will know it. And the standards of education are way better than many other universities around Indonesia. I have been visiting faculty in many Indonesian universities before I came here, and so I know it. I can comparatively state it. And one thing that I would say, especially to students who are aspiring to join law, please join it. Because not only will you learn the law, which you can do in any other university in Indonesia, you will learn internationalized law, something that will take you beyond the confines of Indonesia. We have got a language center here where you can learn not only English, like Baby did, but also pick up foreign languages like the 5 UN languages and other languages as well, which can open the doors for you to work in international organizations. Yes, so many of our students get an international exposure before they graduate this university. Most of our students, in fact, they either go on an exchange program or they go to the conferences. Our students coming from some of the very rural areas of Sukabumi Regency, who have never actually traveled out of even Java Barat, some of them have never been to Jakarta also, suddenly by studying in Nusa Putra University, they have traveled to Japan, they've traveled to Malaysia, they've gone to Singapore, they travel to all the different places. And the same goes for students of other disciplines as well, like accountancy, management, engineering, education studies, all of these subjects. You get an international exposure, you get to improve your language, your diction, your personality. You become a much more professional, competent, and ready to take on the world if you study at Nusa Putra University. So I welcome you all to please come to Nusa Putra University, check it out. I'm sure you will stay on here, and the next 4 years of your life, you will be a different person by the time you graduate. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, just like Mr. David said, if you have a great ambition and a great dreams to go abroad, to explore the world, you are welcome to Nusa Putra University when you get the exposure to do so. All right, Mr. David, thank you very much for being my first guest today.
Thank you so much, baby. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I wish you all the best in the future as well, so that Genusian Podcast can continue with you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. David. And also everyone, because I will be the new host since today. Kalau kalian ada yang pengen jadi guest aku, please feel free to comment or DM Ikuti Nusa Putra University. So everyone, if you want to become my guest, you are very welcome to become my guest. Please do comment below or send a message to Nusa Putra University, and I'll see you guys in our next podcast.
Thank you. See you.